SKOL Vikings, let's win this game.
The Minnesota Vikings fan base erupted with emotion. The team silenced a rival stadium, the offense rediscovered its identity, and an unexpected name reignited hope across Minnesota. But amid the celebration came the latest update on Aaron Jones's injury, the moment that froze the hearts of the Purple faithful, and a massive trade rumor leaking just before the deadline that sent shockwaves through the locker room. And the final twist in this story? No one saw it coming. But before we dive into every detail of this breakdown, let me drop a quick reminder. Hit that subscribe button. It's free and helps keep this daily sports talk rolling. Smash the like button so YouTube shows this video to more Vikings fans. All right, let's get into it. I'll tell you what, nobody saw this coming in Detroit, and maybe that's exactly why this win feels so special. J.J. McCarthy returned after 6 weeks off, and the kid looked like he never missed a snap. 3 touchdowns, 2 through the air and 1 on the ground, and a field presence that completely shifted the team's energy. Just 10 days after being humiliated by the Chargers, Minnesota came back with fire in their eyes, stunning the Lions 27-24 inside Ford Field. Right from the jump, his return was the spark the locker room needed. That 40-yard strike to Jefferson was pure veteran quality, perfect touch, fast read, total confidence. His second touchdown came right after as McCarthy improvised and found Hockenson wide open in the end zone. You could almost see the confidence gears turning again in Minnesota, but it wasn't just the offense. Brian Flores unleashed his defense, sacking Jared Goff 5 times, including 1 in a crucial moment. Blake Cashman forced a fumble that flipped momentum, and the Vikings defense held Detroit to 5 conversions on 17 third-down attempts. Even when the Lions pushed late, the Purple defense didn't blink. Special teams also had their moment, a blocked field goal in the fourth quarter that silenced the crowd. And even when a 99-yard kickoff return was wiped out by a penalty, the team stayed focused. Levi Drake Rodriguez and Will Reichard delivered a critical field goal right after, giving Minnesota the cushion it needed. The game-sealing play came on that back shoulder throw to Jalen Nailor. Pinpoint accuracy in a moment when any mistake could have given Detroit life. McCarthy showed ice in his veins. And here's the thing, even without eye-popping stats, 143 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception, he displayed the kind of composure the Vikings haven't seen in a young quarterback in a long time. To be honest, this was one of those wins that hit deep for fans. It wasn't luck, it was heart, toughness, and execution when it mattered. Now sitting at 4-4, Minnesota is just 1 game behind the Lions, with the tiebreaker in hand. And with the energy we saw Sunday, no team will want to face them anytime soon. Drop a comment if you think this might have been the turning point of the season, because next up is Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, and this story's far from over. You know that saying about being patient with rookies? Well, sometimes the answer comes faster than anyone expects. J.J. McCarthy proved in Detroit he's not just a promise. He's a guy ready to lead this Vikings offense. After weeks of uncertainty, speculation, and even whispers about a quarterback trade, the kid stepped up and answered on the field. Before kickoff, doubts surrounded him. He had played just 2 full games since being drafted and looked hesitant, rusty, and unsure at times. But on Sunday, it was a different McCarthy. On his first drive, he showed he was locked in, leading 2 surgical possessions, 5 completions on 7 throws, and 2 touchdowns that showed veteran-level poise. The first, a laser to Justin Jefferson. The second, a crossbody throw to Hockenson that looked straight out of a highlight reel. What stood out most was how he didn't crumble when the offense stalled in the second quarter. He bounced back in the second half, reading defenses faster, improvising, and even running in a 9-yard touchdown. That mobility brought something Minnesota's offense hadn't seen since the Kirk Cousins era: rhythm and unpredictability. Sure, it wasn't flawless. He missed a few reads, threw one behind Nailor that got picked, and had a couple of miscommunications on audibles, but for a 22-year-old coming off injury, this was massive progress. His reads were sharper, his pocket presence steadier, and above all, he carried himself like a true leader. The defense held up its end, 5 sacks on Goff, relentless pressure, and another blocked field goal by special teams. Then came the defining play. 3rd and 5, 1 minute 41 seconds left. McCarthy rifled a sideline dart to Nailor for the first down that sealed it. Ball game. Honestly, this win lifted a huge weight off both McCarthy and Kevin O'Connell. At 4-4, the Vikings are right back in the playoff picture. And for the first time in weeks, fans believe they've found their future quarterback. The talk about bringing in a veteran might continue, but after Sunday, it's clear this kid might already be the guy. Drop your thoughts below. Did JJ finally win the locker room? Because if he did, this season could take a whole new turn. Not everything was celebration after the win over Detroit. There was a moment that made every fan hold their breath. Aaron Jones' shoulder injury. When he went down clutching his arm, the mood in Minnesota shifted instantly. But fortunately for everyone in purple, the diagnosis brought relief. NFL insider Tom Pelissero reported that it was a mild AC joint sprain, something Jones himself believes won't keep him out against the Ravens, and that changes everything. Jones has been one of the most important pieces of this offense. He carried the ball 9 times for 85 yards, averaging nearly 9 yards per attempt, and caught 2 passes for another 20. He's the kind of player who keeps the offense alive even when the quarterback needs a breather. Seeing him on the turf was a scare nobody wanted. To be honest, Jones is the heartbeat of Kevin O'Connell's system. When McCarthy needs rhythm, Jones sets it between the tackles. When defenses back off, Jones opens lanes for Jefferson and Addison, so knowing the injury's minor is massive news for the Purple faithful. Still, concern lingers. Shoulders can be tricky, and he's battled similar issues before. Even with optimism in the air, O'Connell will likely limit his practice reps this week. If Jones can't go, Jordan Mason has proven ready. Steady vision, physical running, and the strength to carry the load. The victory over Detroit was crucial for playoff momentum, but losing your starting back now would sting, especially with Lamar Jackson and that explosive Baltimore offense coming next. Time of possession could decide that one, and a healthy run game might be the key. After the game, Jones told reporters, "I'm good. If it's up to me, I'm playing Sunday." That kind of energy fires up the locker room. It's leadership, confidence, and attitude all in one. In the end, the good news outweighed the bad. The injury's minor, the team's belief is back, and the vibe in Minnesota feels alive again. If Jones suits up against the Ravens, this offense instantly becomes more dangerous. Would you risk playing him at less than 100% or give him a week off to heal? That call could shape the next stretch of this season. Now buckle up, because this week's rumor turned the league upside down. Kyler Murray to the Vikings. That's right. With the trade deadline closing in, reports surfaced that Minnesota was exploring veteran quarterback options, and Murray's name came up strong. The idea, bring in experience with Carson Wentz out for the year and uncertainty still surrounding McCarthy's ceiling. To some, it sounds odd, especially after the rookie's breakout performance, but sources say the Vikings want insurance, just in case. And who better than Murray? Over 20,000 passing yards, 121 touchdowns, and more than 3,000 rushing yards in his career. An elite talent, but one clearly at a crossroads in Arizona. The Cardinals started 2-0 but spiraled to 2-5, eventually benching Murray for Jacoby Brissett. It's clear both sides need a fresh start. And honestly, Kevin O'Connell might be the perfect coach to revive him, just like he did with Sam Darnold last year. Scheme-wise, the fit makes sense. Murray's mobility and quick release would add a new layer of unpredictability to Minnesota's offense. With Jefferson and Addison outside and Jones in the backfield, that's a nightmare for defenses. But here's the catch: the price. Murray's contract is huge, and trading for him would likely mean giving up future draft capital. So the big question is, would it be worth it to chase a veteran when your rookie is just starting to shine? Moves like that can split a locker room and a fan base. Honestly, I get why the rumor exists. The front office is doing its homework, considering all outcomes after a string of quarterback injuries. Still, it's hard to ignore what McCarthy just proved on the field. He earned his moment, and taking that away now would feel wrong. So what do you think? Should the Vikings swing big for Kyler Murray, or let the kid keep building his legacy? Because if this rumor gains traction, it could shake the very core of Defend the North. That win over the Lions gave fans plenty to talk about, but 5 takeaways really stand out, and they show just how much this team can still grow. First, the offense finally struck early. After weeks of slow starts, the Vikings opened with 2 straight touchdown drives and led 17-14 at halftime. That changes everything. It forces opponents to chase and takes pressure off the defense. Second, the missed tackles and 4th down conversions nearly cost them. Detroit went for it 4 times, converting every single one with either a touchdown, a first down, or a penalty. Jonathan Greenard had Goff wrapped up once but let him slip away, and that single play might have been the difference between a stop and a scoring drive. Details like that matter, especially against contenders. Third, those late-half mistakes. Under 2 minutes left, Minnesota looked out of sync. False start, an overthrown pass, and a busted play that killed momentum. They got bailed out by 2 Detroit penalties, only for McCarthy to throw an interception moments later. That kind of lapse can't keep happening. Fourth, heartbreak and relief. Miles Price's 99-yard kickoff return called back by a holding flag. It would have been the play of the week, but Tavieri Thomas' penalty erased it. To make matters worse, he picked up an unsportsmanlike conduct flag on the very next series. Still, Price's return set up great field position all afternoon. Finally, the big one. Minnesota is back in the NFC North race. With the Packers and Bears both stumbling, the division's wide open. 4 teams separated by 1 win, and the Vikings hold the head-to-head edge over Detroit. That could prove huge later. Honestly, this team still makes mistakes, but something feels different now. That win lit a spark. Confidence, energy, unity. O'Connell seems to have the locker room back, and the defense is playing with heart again. Drop your take. Was this the game that reconnected the players and the fans? Because if so, the Purple Faithful are about to make some serious noise heading into January. This Sunday in Detroit might just mark the start of a real turnaround. McCarthy showed poise. Aaron Jones scared everyone but should return. Flores' defense rediscovered its edge, and the locker room found its heartbeat again. The Kyler Murray rumor? Maybe it's real, maybe not. But the truth is, this team is finding its identity. When they play with soul, everything changes. And honestly, it feels like the North just found its owner again. Drop a comment. This space belongs to everyone who lives the Purple Faithful. Stay tuned. SKOL Vikings, let's go.